Welcome to the American Small Business League podcast. I am Bruce Torres, and with me is William Marks, who is running for Congress as a Democrat in Texas's 25th district. Before I read about you, William, how are you today?
Hello, we are doing amazing here in Arlington, Texas.
Excellent. You're a decorated combat veteran and award-winning Navy communicator. You graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy in 95 and then spent 22 years in the military had a 6-year career at Meta. And I'm going to let you take it from there. Give us a bit of your background before I start asking you questions.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's such an honor to be here. I went to the U.S. Naval Academy, graduated from there in 1996, and then I immediately moved to ships. So think navigating ships, operating the radars, and that was on a guided missile cruiser, USS Gettysburg, and a destroyer, USS Spruance. At that point, I was part of Operation Desert Fox, where we launched the largest Tomahawk salvo at the time in the history of the Navy. So I
Against
did
who?
that,
Against who?
Into Iraq. So we were in the Persian Gulf.
Which
Uh,
year was that?
so this was the very end of 1998, moving into 1999.
Okay, thanks.
And that was aboard the USS Gettysburg. From there, so that was about 5 years or so, navigating ships and operating radars on board ships. I then had this amazing opportunity to be second in command of Old Ironsides, the USS Constitution, America's oldest commissioned warship. I did that. And from there, my career led me to a lot of communications jobs. So think everything from Navy personnel and HR, all the way up to deployment on an aircraft carrier, USA Abraham Lincoln, and then the senior military spokesperson for our Pacific Fleet in Japan, as well as the Defense Intelligence Agency in Washington, D.C. So that's a little bit about my military background. From there, I had an amazing opportunity to work at Facebook, now known as Meta. And what's really was neat to me, it wasn't selling advertisements or anything like that. It was giving back to the community. So I met with thousands of small business owners, teachers, students, nonprofits, and we awarded more than $10 million over the course of about 6 years. And so that was just an amazing experience being out in the community and talking to these great members of the community.
Very nice. Now, I got to tell you, there are those who accuse Facebook of being basically created by the intelligence community. And if they were, I'm sure they have many, many departments and compartments that don't know anything about that. I'm sure, like most of our agencies and administrations, they are filled with good people who are pursuing patriotic and wonderful and benevolent goals and means. And yet, history does also show that many of our institutions had this secret side that did horrible, really crimes. So, did you see any evidence of such criminality at Meta or Facebook?
Well, absolutely. Facebook has had its growing pains over the years, now over the decades. But fortunately, I wasn't involved in that side of things. My role, and again, just very fortunate, my role was to give back to the community. And so I was able to, I was not really online at all. I was in person. And so I would meet with teachers and principals and students and really just ask what they needed. What do you need to succeed, whether it be laptops or robotics? And then I met with small businesses. Well, how can we help them succeed and grow their business? And of course, some of the larger nonprofits like the United Way, Boys and Girls Club, really at a small local community level to make sure that the the members of that community had what they need to really be successful. So very fortunate. I really wasn't online. I'm not a coder. I didn't sell advertisements or I didn't do any of the programming or coding. So it was one of just a very few, really handful of people that were able to do that. And so again, very fortunate to be a part of that. And I wasn't really involved in either the selling or the coding or the programming or anything like that.
Thank you. William, tell me what you're doing now. What's your career been lately, and what have you been doing or still doing leading up to your decision to run? We'll talk about that in a moment, but what has been your work lately?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So earlier this year, I saw the Trump administration started banning books at the U.S. Naval Academy. And that's my school. I take great pride in the Naval Academy. And remember, when we talk about banning books, these are not elementary school children. These are grown adults that are serving their country. They're going to be the next generation of leaders in our Navy and Marine Corps. And they're the last group of people you'd want to ban books from because they need to know our history, the good, the bad, the positive, the negative, the highlights, the struggles. These students, whether it's research papers or studying ethics or studying leadership roles, they need to know our history. And when I saw the Trump administration started banning books, they pulled off the shelf Maya Angelou and books about our history, but they left on the shelf Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf. And it didn't make any sense to me. And the point was cruelty. The point was to censor reading and learning at the Naval Academy. And I said I would not let that stand. So I built a coalition of more than 1,200 people around the country, and we raised about $70,000. And I flew to Annapolis, Maryland, and I got volunteers on the ground, and we said, you can ban the book from the library, but you can't stop me from buying copies of those books and handing them out to the students on the ground. And at the end of the week there, we looked, and to our amazement, the Trump administration caved in. They reversed the policy. And it was because we were vocal, but it was also because we made a promise and then we kept that promise. So it wasn't just talk, it was the action, it was the boots on the ground, it was being there in person on the ground, and we overturned that policy. And I flew
And
back to Texas and
yep.
I flew back to Texas and I said, that's the key. That's the spark we need. And I looked at my incumbent who had not had an opponent in the last two cycles. And I said, I can't let it go 6 years continuous without an opponent. And so that's how I decided to run.
Is the incumbent a Republican?
He is. He's a Republican, very MAGA, 96% Trump voter. His name is Roger Williams.
Thank you. Wow, I think he might be the chair of the House Small Business Committee.
He is, and that's why I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to discuss that with you and the difference between his version of a small business, which is not aligned to reality, and I think our version of a small business, which is those true small businesses, those grassroots small businesses out in the community.
Before we stay focused on small businesses, why are you running? When you talk to your district and your future constituents, why are you running? What do you want to get done for them?
Yeah, thanks. So I try to keep my platform simple, but the most important thing, I want to make jobs better. Your job needs to be a better, higher living wage job with better benefits. Number two, I want to improve healthcare. We have got to get the broken healthcare system reformed and get it right. And three, I want to make everyday living affordable for all Texans and all Americans. So I can give you a quick couple minutes on how I'm going to do that, or we can turn
Please.
it back over.
No, a couple minutes. Go.
All right. So I really want to make people's jobs better. And I look at these multi-billion-dollar corporations, and there's no reason they can't invest in their employees. And I'm glad they're making tens of billions of dollars. but they need to reinvest in their employees. They need to give employees better benefits, more hours, a better healthcare provider, and a better healthcare plan, and not cut them off before their benefits kick in. Also invest in their training and education. So these multi-billion dollar corporations really need to invest in their employees to make their jobs better. Second, improve the healthcare system. We have the United Healthcares of the world and these middle managers making, again, billions of dollars. You go into the ER, you get your bill. Your wife you deliver a baby and it's $20,000, $30,000. It shouldn't be that way. So I'd love to reform this broken healthcare system and think about this. These middle manager healthcare providers, their profit goes up when they deny your claim. So your healthcare gets worse, but yet they see their profit go up. It shouldn't be that way. And finally, affordable living for every American. We'll do that by removing tariffs, removing barriers to small business, removing red tape, removing endless paperwork from people who want to get things done in their communities. And that's going to make prices go down.
At this point in the conversation, something funny starts to happen. This is Bruce speaking. My hand gestures activated the auto tracking on my very professional and expensive camera. As I move my head or maybe gesture with my hands, the camera automatically adjusts. So it looks like I'm going up and down randomly in my chair. It's distracting. I apologize for it. There is no fix I can do post production. Enjoy the rest of the conversation. Thank you for that. It's very tangible and it talks right to our hearts, which are very connected to our wallets. When did you launch your campaign?
I'm about 4 months in now. Thrilled to have built such great momentum. We've got a great following. I'm basing my campaign on in-person grassroots interactions. You won't see me spam you with emails. I'm not going to text you. I'm not going to call you in the middle of the night while you're eating dinner. I'm building this grassroots with in-person events and interactions. And so far it's working. We're building a great team here.
Are there other Democrats lining up to compete?
There are not. So the very final day in Texas is December 8th. However, at this point, I'm the only candidate, the sole Democratic candidate. And once this filing period ends, I'll be able to say I am the official Democratic candidate for Texas Congressional District 25.
Just because a Republican has held it for a couple of cycles, is it traditionally a Republican district?
Oh, yeah. So I love getting into the history of this. The district has changed shapes many times. So up until 2020, it included almost down to Austin. So 2 or 3 hours driving south. That changed shapes after 2020. And since then, Roger Williams has not ever had an opponent in the district how it looks now.
Okay.
So I'm based here in Arlington. The center of population is in Arlington, Fort Worth. This new district is going to take him by storm. He's not going to know the power of this movement. He's never had a campaign in this district. He barely knows the people in this district. He has almost no name recognition. So in this new shaped Texas District 25, it's almost a dead heat if you take in those factors.
When did 25 get formed, District 25?
So the District 25, way back when it included the north parts of Austin, Roger Williams has been that incumbent for over a decade,
Okay.
2012,
Hmm.
2014.
Hmm.
But the way it looks now is not the same. The way it
All right.
looks now is formed after 2020,
Okay.
and it's a new shape of the district. And that's why I say he may have won big in a different district, but this district is different. We are very close. It's a very competitive race in this newly formed District 25.
Even though he's run unopposed the last two cycles.
Yeah, correct.
Good.
It's a different
Right.
shape even from
Right.
those.
What are you saying, if anything, tailored to the ears of Republicans, or are you confident, and it sounds like you could and should be, on your major messaging and to appeal to reasonable people, no matter what party they say they're with?
Yeah, and there are many reasonable moderate Republicans. So of course I'm a Democrat, true blue Democrat, and I'll fight for Democrats till the day I die. But we need to be inclusive toward those moderate Republicans who want better jobs, who understand they need better health care and improve this broken healthcare system. And they just want their groceries to be affordable. The key commonality, what brings us together, are that these folks work hard. They have played by the rules their entire lives, and they just want the system to be fair. They want billionaires to pay what they owe, no more, no less. They just want the system to be fair. And right now, it's not fair. It's not fair to those true grassroots small business owners. It's not fair to the men and women of Arlington and Tarrant County and Fort Worth that work so hard and they don't see the fairness coming back to them. And that's what I'm going to bring.
No, thank you. Are you ready to talk about some specific small business issues?
Yeah, let's do it. That's why we're here.
All right. Yeah, we wrote you as we're reaching out to 16, 1700 candidates,
Oh,
William,
great.
and teaching them what we taught you to excite you to confirm it, because a lot of the info we sent you and that we're about to talk about is unknown to many, many people. And to excite you to run on it and test it and see if in your campaign, wow, that's really resonating. Thank you, Bruce, because that's going to help me win. That's our conviction, and it's the experiment we want candidates to run. And very simply, for watchers and listeners, small businesses make up 99.9% of all businesses in America. We are truly a small business nation. And the law says right now that 23% of all federal contract dollars are supposed to go to small businesses. Okay. 23% of between 800 billion and 1.3, 1.5 trillion, depending on how you want to, add it up. Okay. But every year, the SBA, which is in charge of this requirement, says we met that goal, we exceeded that goal, everything's fine, and we have found that that's a lie. For 35 years, our founder, Lloyd Chapman, has been suing the federal government and finding that the vast majority of federal contracts go to the 1/10 of 1% of companies that are big businesses. 95, 96, 97% of all federal contracts. They obscure, they fudge, they just downright lie and say, we gave a lot of contracts to small businesses. No, you didn't. Congressional investigations have found the same thing, and the SBA's Office of Inspector General has found the same thing. Everybody should look it up. You can find it. Tons of verification on our site, ASBL.com. Our particular project, and then I'm going to get your thoughts about all this, William, is to raise from 5% to 15% the contracts that are supposed to go to women owned small businesses, because women are half the population. They own 40% of all businesses in America, and they sell what the government buys. The government buys everything. The United States government is the world's largest purchaser of goods and services. Okay. And women own over 14 million businesses. They generate almost $3 trillion in revenue. They employ over 12 million people. Why, oh, why is it okay for them to get just 5% of federal contracts, which they never get anyway? The government admits we've only met that goal twice in the last 30 years. We believe that women owned small businesses really get maybe 1% of all federal contracts every single year. Now, just for the issue of justice and fairness, that's unacceptable. But look what's at stake. Men have more political power simply because they earn and save more than women. Okay? They donate more to politicians, they've got more influence at that level. but it's easier for them to run and win office. Men hold 75% of all seats in the House, all seats in the Senate, all state legislatures, every president's cabinet. They hold almost that many governor chairs, and they sit in 90% of the committee chair and party leadership positions. Men do. Men and women have different sensibilities. They've got different values. They've got different political priorities. It is 2025. Women are not political equals because they are not economic equals. Now, women are doing well financially and economically by a number of measures. They graduate with higher degrees more than men do. They, I believe, are starting more small businesses than men do. But at this federal contract level, they are woefully behind, and everything that can make women economic equals lets them become political equals. And the human race needs the sensibilities, the visions, and the values of the entire human race, both men and women. That's why we're excited about our Don't Cheat Women project. Learn all about it at don'tcheatwomen.com. William, talk to me about all of that.
Yeah, thanks. I'm a huge supporter of the American Small Business League, and we have got to bring fairness to small business. And my pledge is to bring fairness to those true small businesses who are out there fighting in the community. And I'm not talking about businesses that make 5, 10, 20 million dollars. I'm not talking about these businesses that have 500, 1,000 employees. I'm talking about those in the community, whether it be the landscaping companies, the hairstylists, the construction companies, roofing companies. These are the true American small businesses that power the economy. And no one's asking for quotas, no one's asking for special treatment. We just want it to be fair. We want the landscape to be fair to those true grassroots small businesses out there. And it's not fair right now.
No, and let me share some quick things to show how real this situation is. The average American business, excuse me, 98% of all businesses have less than 100 employees. So companies that have 500, 1,000, 2,000 should not be getting small business contracts. And that's happening across the federal agencies. Okay. The average American small business, has 4 to 6 employees.
Yeah.
Of the 36 million small businesses, about 27 million of those are just the owner. They're non employer firms. And if a landscaper or someone with a beauty salon says, "What do I care about federal contracts? I'm never going to apply for a federal contract." Wait a second. 32 million businesses are in the categories that the federal government buys from. So if 23 or 33%, if the women goal got raised, got federal contracts, they would create 2 to 3 million new jobs across the country, which would bring prosperity to every single community, small town, city, across the board. So if you're a landscaper or a house painter or a roofer, you want to make the federal government give that percentage to the small businesses that it can, because it would increase the prosperity of your business and your community right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree. And the point is the system is not working right now. The system is not fair right now. And to all those small business owners with 10, 20, 30 employees, and that includes millions of minorities and women out there, my pledge is to make the system work for you. If you go onto the SBA website, the Small Business Administration, they'll say, oh, a small business can have 500, 600 employees. Oh, a small business can have 45, $48 million in revenue and still claim the benefits of being a small business. And I'm here to say, I'm here to fight for those true small businesses, 20, 30 employees, women, minorities, all of those community grassroots small businesses where the system is not working for them right now. And that's who I'm fighting for.
Right. And the system is simply the corporate capture
Yeah.
of the levers of power of the different agencies. And to expose this was going to take courage of epic proportions because this is entrenched, at least since 1961, when Eisenhower left office. And in his famous farewell address, he warned about three things: the military industrial complex and science and research being captured by uh, the elite that would actually dictate policy. And that has been proven in the era of COVID. And he also warned about overspending and mortgaging our children's future. And we're an economic disaster right now with our debt. It's completely unsustainable. So to have the courage to expose how big businesses use the federal government to get 96, 97%, and what they really want is 100%
Yeah.
of the federal investment in goods and services is so laudable and it's so tangible, and the good things that could come from it, William. You're going to continue to learn and you're going to continue to teach and preach, and it's going to resonate with people because even the barbershop owner or whatever is going to hear, yeah, I want the whole community to prosper. We have thoroughly covered everything I wanted to talk about. What would you reemphasize? What would you dig deeper into, or what would you tell me that we haven't discussed?
Yeah, I do want to mention that, I'm very glad for these big businesses to make tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. I think that's part of the American dream. And I would never say that they shouldn't have a great business. All we're saying is it should be fair. The system should work for everyone in a fair, equal way that gives everyone the opportunity. And right now, it's just a rigged system, like you mentioned. It's a rigged system. And the folks with billions of dollars are getting richer, and those small business owners are not getting equal treatment. They're not getting a fair deal. They're not getting the benefits of this American dream that we've built. So I'm glad for these big businesses. And I don't want to take money away from them. I just want it to be fair. And if we can move the needle toward fairness, then we will accomplish what we're talking about. The 5 to 10 to 15 to 20%. That's just fair. We just want, we work hard. We want to put food on the table. We deserve the same benefits as those billion dollar big businesses, I should say.
Right. Right. And we need congressmen who will tell the truth and who will resist the temptation to accept donations from those big businesses in order to participate in the game of saying, oh, those contracts went to small businesses, and not tell us, can we see the names of those companies?
Yeah.
You have to fight like hell to get those names in lawsuits, and it's unfortunate. It's tragic, really, and it's taking us. If we're not already over the cliff, we're on the edge of financial problems of epic proportions because of the way these huge corporations and banking interests have
Yeah. Thanks for
played
mentioning.
have played us through their control of the federal agencies.
Yeah, I want to say thanks for mentioning the fundraising aspect. And one thing I can promise to everyone is I've served my country for 22 years. You're never going to become a multimillionaire being in the military. So no one can buy me. No one can intimidate me. There's no big corporation that can think they're going to throw a bunch of money my way or throw lobbyists at me that can sway my vote. It's impossible. It's never going to happen. So I'm building this movement grassroots. I would rather have a $1 donation from 1,000 people than for some big corporation to come in and give me $1,000 here, $5,000 there. So being a veteran, being a 22-year veteran, there's no one who can buy me. There's no one who can sway my vote or buy my vote. There's no one who can intimidate me. I'm here for one thing and one thing only, and that's the people of Texas, the people of the United States that are those true small business owners, those true working class Americans. And that's who I'm going to fight for. So thanks for saying that. For those out there taking billion-dollar corporate money, great for them, but that's not me. We're going to win this through the grassroots way, power by the people.
William, thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to ask you to hang on after we stop the recording, but really, this has been it's been great talking to you, and
Thank you so
I
much.
wish you
It's
every
been a
success.
privilege.
And now I want to thank everybody for watching and listening today.